Okay, did anyone gone through this invoke service?
Yes, sir.
Sir.
Okay, okay.
Yes,
So
sir.
before that, we will talk about, let's say, FTP. Anyone knows FTP?
Yes.
Okay. Have you used any time or anywhere like no FTP?
No, sir.
Okay.
No, sir.
Yeah.
Transferring the files.
So WhatsApp uses REST APIs. Okay. Yeah. So WhatsApp, what are the messages we are receiving and sending, right? Okay. Those are based on the REST APIs. Okay. So they use something. Intelligence is not just a REST APIs, but they use HTML5 WebSockets for the things. But the documents, it's a kind of FTP. Okay, it's kind of FTP, not FTP. Okay. Emails attachments also there, right? So those are not FTP again. It's kind of FTP, I can say, file transfer protocol, but it's an attachment to the email. Okay. So how it works is, I will give some background how it works. FTP in companies, it's like it's a real-time use cases. So we'll have some so because of this mergers, like in a company, 2-3 companies merging together. Have you heard about? Okay. Those are things. Okay. So some companies, how it works is, petrol bunks. I think this one is a good example, like old example. It's not a new one. Reliance, they have their petrol bunks all over India, right? Okay. So what they used to do is, uh, uh, every day, whatever the amount of petrol, like that, I don't want to say. So yeah, that is FTP only they use. That is of not good results. Okay. Assuming it's like retail industry again, retail industry. So actually there will be applications here, SAP application, SAP. I have heard about SAP, right? SAP applications, SAP, and Salesforce is a retail Salesforce. This is also very demanding market. Okay. So these applications will be at central, data centers. We call it as data centers. So, so in their on-premises, basically on-premises, SAP will be there, or cloud, Salesforce. Nowadays, cloud, they are using Salesforce, but in on-premises, SAP, most of the big companies, they're using SAP. Okay. So their stores are some other locations, like say, stores, or like they have partners companies, partner companies. These are like third party companies, third party or partner companies. Okay, they used to send data to organization. Like how they will send is, they have a kind of a file with data will be there. It's like sometimes it's a comma separated files. I think you heard, right? Comma separated, I told you. Positional records and comma separated records. Okay, there are two things will be there. So let's say ID, name, okay, some other details. They store all the records in the file. Okay, then at the end of the day, this partner company or their store companies, they will upload, they will send those files to on this application through FTP. There will be an FTP server. Okay, FTP server. So these files will send because it's over the network, not within the network. So this company is on different network, this company is on the different network. Through internet, okay, they use FTP to send the file using FTP server to one of the directory here, local directory. Okay, once the file is written here, okay, so we will have our web methods. Okay, our web methods are some integration app platform will be there here. Okay, that file will be, it will get that file, it will pass the data, it will take the records, and one by one record it will be sent to SAP or Salesforce. You got it? How the actual work will happen? These companies, we call it as a B2B applications, sometimes B2B applications, business to business applications. Okay, they will send files over FTP. Are you getting? They will send the files over FTP. So they will send files over FTP to one of the directory, local directory. Okay, so our integration application will be there. It will read the file and it will our integration platform like new web methods. It will pass this file, process this file, and it will load into SAP or Salesforce like that. This is one of the example of FTP server. Okay. Other example is like one more is, so some applications within the application, within the network, on premises, within network. So some application, let's say X application, it will write a file into a folder. Okay, it will write a file into a local directory. We'll have a directory /dir, some directory. The moment the file is written, we should have our web methods read that file, okay, process the files, and again send it to SAP or Salesforce. Are you getting? This kind of a functionality we may need to implement. So how to call SAP Salesforce, we will see later. This will be done here. But how to process the file, how to read the file, how to process that file. This may be XML file or delimiter records. Are you getting? Delimiter records, XML files. We can read our web methods. So in our chapters, means invoke activity, these are the things we are going to learn. One is FTP, one is file invocation, or what you call file poller, right? What you given? Anyone studied chapter 5th? Anisha?
Yes, sir. File polling.
File polling, right? One is file polling. Second one is FTP.
FTP.
And any other things?
Uploading.
Email.
Yes, email.
Email
SP,
study,
sorry,
right?
sir.
Yeah. Any other things explain?
HTTP.
Okay. Web methods, web services. Yeah, REST services. Okay.
First, web services, REST services.
Okay, REST services. Anything else? Okay, we'll see. Okay.
First, HTTP.
Yeah, HTTP is also there. Okay, HTTP also. Yeah, so we already seen HTTP, the way we can call, right? We have seen a flow service we are running. How can we invoke a flow service? Any idea?
Okay.
How can we invoke a flow service using HTTP protocol browser? Some URL will be there.
Yes. invoke slash number 1 is equals to number 2.
Yeah. So yeah. So invoke and the namespace of the flow service namespace
Namespace.
namespace question mark and
Question
variables like a string dot string 1 equal to value and a symbol string 2 equal to value, like that. Okay, so that we did. So there are something else I need to explain. I will explain that. File polling is also there. Okay, we start with file polling. Okay, so I wanted to read a file. Okay, how can we do that in web methods? So anything like this invocation, FTP, email, web services, all those things. First step is once we started our integration server, we can go to localhost or what you call like a administrator, integration server, admin UI. Let's let it start.
Sir, in real time, we want to that. No? Each one don't have that server.
Okay, so in real time, each one don't have, but you can access this link. They give you IP address. Okay, port number will be there. Okay, so the way like you access any Gmail, email, the right emails, YouTube things, right? YouTube.com, like that. You can use HTTP colon. Okay, in companies like they give you IP address and port number, you will use. Okay, you will get it, and you will not use administrator. You will get your own username password. You have to use your own username password to log into integration server. Okay, and again, remember. Okay, so how to create users? You may not get in questions, but in exam, but you should know, like as a fully developer, everyone should know everything of web methods.
When we will have interview, sir, after the exam?
Interview immediately. The moment you clear the exam, very next day, we'll have an interview.
Only
Okay.
one round?
Yeah, it's a one round.
That is also about the web method questions only.
Only web
Other than
methods.
that.
Only web methods. Some basics of SQL. Okay, because without SQL, okay, there is no software will be developed.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So not only interview, I will also give the feedback, right? I will convince them also, right? My team members should be selected, right? That I will also talk to the clients, right? It's not like just even interview also. I will try to make them, hey, these guys are very good. Can you try to take it? That kind of a feedback also I can go, and not only just the exam clearing. I may go and give them assurance. We will have every week something like these guys will get training. So that anyways, so one step at a time. We'll take one step at a time. Right now, what I did is, so coming to here, so we know like now how to create the users. Okay, right? Everyone knows from how can where from where we can create the users. Any idea? In settings, do you have settings, or in settings? I think you know what is global variables. Manage, yeah, where servers. I don't think servers. We don't know. We don't think. Security, under security, user management. Okay, we'll create users and password users, and the roles also we can define here. Okay. Okay. Now forget about that one. Now we'll come to server. There is a ports. Okay. Ports. This screen itself is not under servers. It will be there. Without that, it will not be. This 5 will be 555 will be there. Can you check? It will be. So all are facing the same. Can you check your integration server and see? Okay. You see that? Look. Okay. So under post, right? Under servers, you will have a ports. Let me see. Where is security? Security.
I mean server only, under the server only, sir.
Under the server only. So your exceptional. Sure. Sure. And what about Jashwant and Araju? Okay. I don't know that one, but we'll see. So what about Jashwant?
Yes, sir.
Hi, teacher.
Looking, sir, here.
Okay. Okay. So
It is there, sir.
it's there, right? Okay. So under servers, see if you like web methods, we know integration server is running on 555 port. Okay. So if you want web methods to be accessible on different port, okay, so you can create a port here. You can add a port, okay, and then you can add this one. So you can enable it. Access mode is there. Access means you can enable this deny. Okay, that is the kind of thing you can do. Okay, so suppose let's say if this port 9999, this is a default diagnostic port. This is set it to disable mode. So that means no one can access this port. Yes, similar. Okay, so in web methods, suppose let's say if you want to read a file, okay, how it works is in integration server, we have an integration server IS. Here we'll create a file polar. File polar we'll create here. Okay, it will read a file. Okay, whenever the file is there, it will read. And then in the designer, what we are doing is we create a flow service. Okay, so this integration server, whenever the file is there, that content will be sent to flow service. So we'll write business logic here. The file polling, file read, all those will be done by integration server. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Similarly, integration server, let's say email. I wanted to, let's say I'm sending an email. Okay. In integration server, we'll configure email server. So all the mails goes to email server, this integration server. Okay. Integration server will read the content like subject based on subject, and it will read the content. That content will be given to flow service. Okay. In the flow service, we'll write our business logic. Similarly, FTP also. So we'll configure in integration server to read the file from FTP server. Okay, and once the content is read by this integration server, the only data will be given to flow service. So logic will be implemented in the flow service. Is that clear? Little bit. Okay. So we'll see first file service, how file can be polled, and the data how can we process in flow service. First we will see that. Okay. So then you'll come to know what is happening. So first step is server port. We'll add a port. So these
So
are
you
the
have to do at the same time.
no, first listen and then you can do. We'll give a time.
Okay.
Okay. So if you see here, this is a question. Sometimes they will ask what are the available ports you can add. Okay, web methods HTTP, web methods HTTPS, file polling, FTP, FTPS. S means secure. Okay, FTP is nothing but normal without secure. Email, web methods socket secure. Not many need to remember, but these are basic you can remember. Like FTP, everyone knows. Okay, FTPS. File polling is
File polling.
FTP
Email.
we know. Okay, email everyone knows.
Mail, yes.
Okay, and internal server. This is an internal server. Nothing else remember. Okay, so first we'll try with file polling. How we can do. Okay, when we click on this file polling, it creates submitted. It gives you a form. Okay. Do right, it's a WM root package we'll choose file polling. Don't confuse with flat file. So hey, flat file is there, we should select. No, it's a WM root only. File polling also all whatever we adding here, right? Add ports, whichever you take. Okay. Okay, here it is not there, but whichever the packages are referring, those will be definitely comes with root only, WM root. Okay, WM root package. Okay, when you are adding port, any port, so main package will be WM root. Okay, so no need to remember that maximum WM root. Okay, so this file polling, that's a file polling how it works. So the question will come like hey, maybe someone in introduce question will ask how to read a file. Let's say I'm dropping I'm placing a file in a input directory. So develop a service which polls for files and process in web methods. Okay, then you have to say like I will log into integration server first. Then I will go to server ports. There I will select file poller. Okay, so first I will add ports. I will add a port. There it will I will select file polling. Okay, so once I select a file polling, we need to fill some details. We'll go through this one. So alias name is you can give any name. Okay, so I can give file polling demo. Some name I'm giving. Why this name I'm giving is, you see here, right? Once we did add ports, these names, each one should have some name, right? Okay, so similarly add ports. So here file polling I'm giving like file polling demo. Okay, we'll give. Then monitoring directory. These three are very important directories: monitoring directory, working directory, completion directory. Okay, and error directory. Okay, what are these? Like when we work on with file based processing. Okay, generally there are 4 folders. Okay, monitoring in the sense we will drop a file in this folder. This is not mandatory, like no file folder name should be like this. Someone will give like input also /input. Okay, some folders name will be input folder, like means C colons, let's say temp something input folder. Okay, C temp, I'm giving temp, but it's something service also. Yes, some service name. You can create any folder. Okay, So input folder, working folder, okay, the complete output folder, done folder, complete folder. Someone use like this, naming conventions will be different. Complete, complete, okay, and C colon it's a service folder and error folder. So generally we create like this folders. Sometimes input folder or monitoring folder, anything naming. You're getting right. So application, these third-party applications or some application write the file. Let's say some application is there, XYZ application within the network. This application writes a file into one of the directory, input directory, drops the file, or it creates a file with the content into input folder. Are you getting? Input folder. Okay, input folder or monitoring folder. Integration server. This server, like an integration server, it will continuously poll in this folder. If any file is there, that file first will be moved to working folder. Okay, and then it processes the file. Once completely processed, that file will be moved to completed folder. Okay, and if any errors occur while working folder, right, the file we are processing, if any error occur, that file will be moved to error folder. Are you getting?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so that's why we used to create input folder, working folder, completion folder, and service folder. So here also, okay, they're talking about monitoring folder. That is nothing but an input folder where files will be there. So I will create some folder. What I'm doing is just for processing. I will create the folder here under temp. Let me see one more folder I will create. Demo. Inside demo, I will create folders, input folder or monitoring folder. I can talk monitoring, monitor. Okay, that's a monitor folder. Okay, and working folder. I'm creating 4 folders here. Working folder. Another is completed folder. Done or output folder. You can also complete it. Any name you can give. It should be meaningful. Okay, it depending upon the project to project, they will change file name, folder names, but you can use error folder. So this path, what I'm doing is I'm giving here and slash, let's say all slashes. You can give Unix type or Windows type, doesn't matter. Okay, I used to give Linux format, or you can give. So no problem. Change it. Why should we change? Okay, so demo. So monitor it folder. I'm giving this folder name. So this is a folder where I'm not giving a file name. Any file name. It can, if it is there, it will process that file. Okay, and then working directory. So working folder, we need to give. Okay. And so this folder, I will put it on completion folder, error folder also. Okay, so error completed folder. And error folder. So these are the folders. Suppose let's say you wanted to do some kind of a file filtering, like I wanted to read only abc.txt file or xyz.txt file, customer.txt file. If you give that, it filters, it will process only that files. Are you getting this one? Okay, we'll come back these two later. Okay, nothing else. We will not use any of these things, and we will go here. We are enabling messaging, means messaging processing, right? So we are not using any messaging now. Message processing is nothing but JMS messaging or not. We'll see this one later. Okay, file polling interval. So we'll give 5 seconds. That's it. Every 5 seconds, hey, go and check the directory. If the file is there, process it. Are you getting? File polling interval. It polls.
Yes, sir.
It will go and check the database every 5 minutes. So not database, folder every time, every 5 minutes in this directory. Okay, so now here processing service. This is a service name we had to give, which we develop in designer. Okay, we have to give that service name, fully qualified service name. Okay, how can I give? Let me go to designer. Let me close this. I will come back to these questions. Okay, yeah. Okay, so I will create a package. We know everyone. Package. This is file demo. I'm giving file processing file demo. Okay, now I will give another folder called file demo. Okay, here we'll have service. I will say this is file processing service. Okay, so this package is flow service, you know. So what I will do is I will copy this path. Okay, I'm going to update here. This is my processing. Okay, you got it right, everyone? So I will save. Once I save, must be a valid user. Okay, use service run username. If I search here, it will give you usernames. Okay, I will select administrator for now. Okay, because if you have no users, it will automatically consider as administrator, but we create many users, so it's expecting the users. Save it. Okay, invalid maximum number of invocations range. Number of files to process per interval. So number of this maximum number of invocations per thread will give 1. Okay, now we just created file polling monitoring successfully added warning. Access to port, this one is currently restricted. Okay, so we just trying to hold that file, but if you see here, access mode is denied. Are you getting? So we need to allow. Access mode is we have to set it to true, miss allow, and if we enable, then it will work. Okay, before that, what I will do is here input output mode. So since you are reading a file, correct? You are reading a file. So here input output, what should we set? So we always should set, since we are reading a file, it's an object. Okay, you have to select this object here. Okay, and then we need to give name as node. Okay, you can give any name, it works. Okay, but generally we prefer to go with a node or ff data. Okay, sometimes we give ff data. Okay, so what web methods will do is, this web methods integration server, it's reading that file, that data, it will send it to flow service as a node. Okay, as an object node. Are you getting? It will read the file and send it to flow service as a node. That's why we select a node. Okay, right now I don't want to consume the data. First I wanted to, print a system.out.println debug statement basically. Okay, so just to see like no file is read or not. Okay, so you guys also have to do like this development, right? Slowly, step by step, develop, add the debug statement, test it, next add something logic like that. Okay, so what I'm doing is here received file data. It's not a FTP, right? If polling, right, we are doing a file, not a file transfer protocol. We are using only, someone is writing into these folders, these 3 folders. Someone is some application is writing into this folder. It's a folder, input folder. Okay, our web integration server is reading this file. There is no FTP involved here. Some application, someone is nothing but some XYZ application writing a file into a folder. This XYZ maybe web methods, maybe it's Java, maybe .NET, something. Okay, so here what we are doing is integrating two applications using file. Are you getting? Everyone is getting, right, what we are doing. So this is also one kind of an integration. File you are integrating. This application is sending file data in file. This application is sending data in file. So our integration server is reading that file and giving to flow service. So we may be inserting to database, or we may call Salesforce, we may call like SAP, and we'll share the data with them. You got it? Actual projects we do like that. Okay. So now we are reading the file. How we are doing is, so we will drop the file here, working completed, and if it's completed, it will move to here. Okay. Here, what I did is this flow service path I given here. I think you remember this flow service file demo processing service path. This path where we get from got it. This one we selected this path and we given. So that means whenever a file is there in this folder, it will move to this directory, and this integration server will send the data to this service. Okay, so that data we will get it in node format. So the node, and then we are just writing a debug statement. Later we'll use this document, how we can convert and we can use in our code, we will see. Okay, right now I'm just adding a debug statement. Is that clear? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now I'm going to enable this view. Enable. Before enable, I will allow access mode. So denied by default, right? What is set access mode to allow by default? Okay, I'm just setting to allow. So now this is allowed. Okay, now I'm enabling this monitoring service. I enable it. It worked fine. Now what I will do is I will create some text file, XML file. Let's say we'll start with XML. I will drop that XML file in this folder. Okay, let me go to demo. I have one in monitoring folder, monitor folder. Here I need to drop some file. Let me see if any XML. I have some XML file. So this data is there. Okay, now this file I am placing monitoring folder. Okay, see, it's gone. Okay, that means integration service read this file. It moved to, let's say I will go and check working directory. It's not there in the working directory also. Is it available in complete folder? Yes. That file is moved with the test.xml, prepended something, file polling and 111 some number, and then it is moved to here. That means the file, this integration server taken that file, means process that file from monitoring folder. I hope everyone is getting monitor. It actually monitor in the folder. The moment the file is there, it moved to working directory first. Okay, and then the content is sent to flow service. Content is sent to flow service. Then once flow service is processed that file, then file is moved to completion folder. Are you getting how it is working?
Yes, sir.
So it worked like that. Okay, so flow service it is done. So let me go to the log files and see. I know Berrytail, everyone knows Berrytail. I'm going to check my Berrytail, how to open that file, everything we know. Okay, let me, the data which I stored here, I say file data, received file data, you can search. Search, there's no search option. It's not working, control F, that's the thing. Okay, It is not there here. Okay, we'll go to the log folder and we'll see. Let me see one of the first two. Okay, so we'll go to integration server. Help me. Okay, the logs will be there.
Logs.
Cannot find that yet. Yeah, I've seen something issue. Just overwrite save file. One, two, three, four, five. Got. So completed. It's received, processed, but got those. We'll get a log or not. I doubt it will be there. No, I know. Actually, when we are testing like this, I've seen this one. It's not
Yeah.
printing.
Sir, first we should come the result in software edge now, sir.
I have not saved it first. First of all, I have not saved it. Okay. Sorry, you're saying, Meghna?
First, the result should come in the software edge now, sir. After
Okay,
writing
here,
the message.
right? No, I have not tested from here. Okay. You have to see. So I told you, like, this integration server. So the moment we store, right, we save this file, this code will be executed on integration server itself.
Okay.
So this one is triggering the flow. Now this integration server is internally triggering the flow. That's why you won't able to see results here. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, now this is saved. Let me see. Let me update something. 1, 2, 3, 4. Save. Okay, now I will go and trigger. See the file. I can place completed folder demo monitor. Placing this file, another file. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Now I will go and store this. Open the file again. Okay. See, it's there. Are you getting? So even I have not executed this one here. The moment I save this file, it will run in integration server itself. The code which we saved all will run inside the integration server. Okay, so there is a file polling service is created inside web methods. Here we created this one integration server. We created a file polling. Okay, what is happening is this file polling. So this one is whatever we mentioned, right? The document. It's an XML document. Okay, so this one is XML document. The one we processed so far is an XML document. Right? Everyone have you processing that one is XML document. Okay, so this one is XML document. The document now it is reached to, like, it's an node, right? So if you wanted to use this node, you cannot use as is. Okay, first node should be converted into document. Okay, and then only you can use the document, because if you see this node, right? So even if you go to a pipeline, it's a node, but all the elements are not showing here. Are you getting? All the elements are not showing here. Correct? So suppose let's say I have a file, the one we saw now here. I want element by element, nodes, node, from, heading, body. I want these elements so that I can do some, I can insert a database, or I can do something logic. I can build some logic, but the structure is not showing here. Is it showing here? No, right? So our step is convert the document into a document. How to convert a node into a XML document? Any idea? So the question will come. So I have an input document. How can you convert that document into a node into a XML document? Any idea how to convert a node into, this is a node, this node into document? Under public, okay, if you go to XML here, get or XML node to document. This is a function is given, XML node to document. So we'll drag and drop here. Okay, so the node is mapped to node automatically. What is this called? The name, if it is mapped like this, what do you call this one? What is this link called? Implicit
link.
Yeah, implicit, because the name is matching, that's why automatically mapped. Okay. In case of transformers, in case of transformers, if you are using yeah, we have to map ourselves. Okay, yeah. So this one is a document. Okay. So suppose let's say if you know the document type, you can give the document type name. It will automatically convert into that document. Okay. So first now we just converted XML document to XML node. So node into document using XML node to document, because this node, which is an object, okay, you cannot use this node as is in your code. You have to convert that document XML into a node into a document. So that's why we convert XML node to document. Is that clear? So how to convert a node to document? What is the function available?
XML node to document.
Okay. Now suppose there's a document is there. Now I wanted to convert document to a string. Okay. If you want to convert a document to a string, document means I wanted to print my XML here into log file. Okay, so how can I do that one? So let's say I copied pasted here. Okay, so if I see this one is a document. Okay, the previous one XML to node to document is converted, right? So if you see here, this one is a document created, but that document, if I am going to write into a file, it won't work. It will not map. Okay, it says cannot copy document to a message. Are you getting? So you need to convert document to some XML string so that you can map to the message. So that can be done document to XML using yes. So you have a debug, forget about this debug, but a node to document you can convert using XML node to document. Okay, from document to XML string, you want a string. Okay, so if you want a string document, not only here, anywhere, if you have a document you want to convert into string, you have to use document to XML string, which is under pub.xml package. You got it right, everyone?
Yes, sir.
So we have to use. Now if I go to here, this is XML data that is coming from this XML string. See, if you see this one XML data, right? So I can map that XML string to my string message. Just I need to delete this one. Okay, I can map this one to XML, XML data to message. It can write now. Are you getting what I did so far? Is that clear or not? Wherever you wanted to convert a document, so we know this way. What we are doing is, like, we have an XML file which is placed in monitoring directory, but this IS, right, integration server, when it reads a file, okay, it is a XML string, but that string XML document or XML data, when it is sent it to flow service, it converts into node and send it to node flow service. So here we have a node only. Okay, here we have a node. This is a node. Now you cannot use node, which is because this node is nothing but an object. You cannot use object as is. You have to convert that node into a document to use in your flow service. So to convert node to a document service, what is the method you have to use? How do you convert node to a document? XML node to document. XML node, so which is pub dot XML colon XML node to document. Okay, we have to use that is what we use, XML node to document. Okay, so that I can write into a file, I can write into a log. So again, you have to use document to XML. Is that clear? Did everyone? Can you do this the same?
Yes.
To test. Okay, so how can you do that? Use XML. You can, if you have XML data, let's say on desktop I have this XML. Okay, I will open with this one. So this is XML, right? So I can load this one from here. What I'm doing is browse. Okay, I'm using desktop this XML. It will load this file. Okay, now I can apply. I can do debug myself. So it's hang. I know. So you can do testing or debugging your flow service like this. You know, debugging is setting the breakpoints, and you can do, right? So that one, why I'm talking about that one. So I don't think it will come. Let me. There's some issue. Like we have input folder, output folder, right? It's not necessarily the same folder name should be there. You can have different folders also. Input folder, someone says input folder, this is output folder, error folder, working folder, like that you can give. So integration server will pull that file, okay, and the content will be sent to flow service as a node. You got it, right? File will be sent as a node. Is this clear? Okay. Now converting a node to document, because you cannot use node as is, you have to convert node to a document. So for that you will use pub.xml colon XML node to document. You'll use it. Okay, and you can use. Suppose let's say now we will use okay. So there is no way, like now if input is node is there, that is when we learn. Like you cannot run, you cannot test it the way like we did other processes. Like no, you cannot test like run using run configuration, run flow service. Okay, so you cannot test it. So that's why what we did is we run first time, and when debug configuration, there in the input tab we given the XML, okay, the document which we wanted to give, and then you can do the debug. So when you do the debug mode, you can execute in the best step mode, and you can test yourself. Okay, whether it's working fine or not, like that you can see. Are you getting? So these results also will come. So I can reset. Okay. Okay, so you got it right. This one, how to test if a node is there. Okay, now, so we'll move on to the next one. So thing is, like, suppose I deploy this code. So we know, like, if I wanted to test if it is node is there. So let's say I have a HTML file is there. HTML. Instead of this dropping the files, suppose let's say integration server is there. Okay, leave this all these things. I have a Java application or web browser. Okay, so we have a web browser here. We can write a post method. You know, web browser HTML. You know, right? Everyone, HTML. Okay, so suppose let's say from HTML, I wanted to post a data to this flow service. Okay, how can we post the data from HTML? So there is a one question is there. It will come definitely. Okay, so that we will see. Okay, suppose let's say I will give you some, this document, this HTML file for you. How can you test it? Okay. So before this, let us see. I will create a simple where is this file polling file demo. This one, right? So I'm creating a simple flow service with the two inputs. Let's say test flow service. Okay, I think everyone knows this one, how to test. Let's say I have a string variable string 1. Okay, I have a string 2. Okay, string 1, string 2 is there. My output is out. So what I'm doing is I'm doing a concat. Okay, so I can use a function there, or I can use a map function here. I'm going to use map. Okay, so we know, like, pub in pub folder also we have concat string functions are there, right? Everyone knows this one. Okay, here we have string. You can use a concat also. Okay, now that I'm using map. Okay, I'm using here add transformers string concat. I can use this one. So we can map it like this. Okay, okay, and this output I'm mapping to output. Okay, but I'm dropping this. Okay, yeah, I wanted to drop, but that one is not coming here. Okay, I don't know why it is not coming. That's okay. Now you have input and output. We wanted this one. Let me put one more mapper. It's close. No, something has happened to my service. It's not a Dropbox. Everything okay. I will try to reset and see. No, it's not showing. That's okay. Okay, so this is okay. So now I can do, like how to test also this one, but I can run in browser also, right? So if you click the browser, it says like only string list will be allowed. Okay, we are okay. So I'm giving like hello. I'm giving. Okay, so I can click on this one. It opens a browser. Okay, administrator. We know like administrator. It worked. Even I take this link. Okay, everyone knows this one, right?
Yes, sir.
Raju, Jashwant, you also know, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you can see this function is nothing but invoke will be there. It's a keyword, and this file demo /test. Yeah. So file demo file demo test, this one. Okay, so you can use this also instead of slash also you can use colon. This also will work. Okay, so with this one, so like colon or slash also will work. Okay, sometimes what will happen, if this is looks a big path. Sometimes you have a folder name like file polling. If you see file polling, and if you see this one, it's a big path, right? Path name flow is very big, the URL will be very big, right? So what you can do is, sometimes generally we'll click on this one, right? Flow services. Every flow service, you can see alias name will be there, HTTP alias. Are you able to see here? Suppose let's say here, if I given, let's say demo, so this should be unique. Okay, again, if it is unique, right? Demo, I'm just saving. Instead of using this entire path, this invoke / test, I can use demo. Okay, instead of completely. So what I'm doing is, I'm just removing this part, I'm adding demo. Okay, test. Oh, demo. What happened? Yes, I given demo caps. Okay, caps, not small letter. Okay, whatever I given there should have given here. Okay, see, it worked. Even if I give hello world 1 2 3, okay, 1 2, it works. See, are you getting? So any properties,
Yes, sir.
like any process, if you take this one here also, you'll have HTTP aliases. If you give this one property, and if you wanted to test using a browser, okay, you can give alias name, so it can be reduce your URL. So this localhost port number, it will be definitely there. Demo is replaced. This one is invoke / the file fully qualified name question mark. This will be there. So both ways you can do the testing. Are you getting? So you can use this URL, invoke, and this one, or if you give the alias name, the URL will be like this. So some question will become like, I given alias name here. Okay, alias name demo. How my URL looks like? So when they will give like, invoke / demo. Is this URL works? No, this will not work. Okay, so invoke should not be there now. Okay, it will be like that. You got it, right? Okay, now that is a get. If you see, this one is whatever the browser we are doing, right? It's a get method. Are you getting? Get method. There are 4 methods are there in HTTP. Okay, what are those? Any idea? There are 4 methods in HTTP. Whenever we do HTTP calls, right, there are 4 methods you can use it. One is get method. Any idea? Whoever attend Java?
Get custom.
No. Post method, get post, put method, delete method. These are the methods available in HTTP calls. Are you getting? So we'll talk about CRUD operations, CURD. Those, like HTTP methods. We call it as HTTP methods. Okay. So get is nothing but read. Post is nothing but create. Okay. Put is nothing but, what is that? Update. Okay. Delete is nothing but delete. Okay. So these are generally we say create, we'll use post method. CRUD. Okay. So get will come, post will come first, like this. Post, get method, put method, delete method. So these are the HTTP methods. If you want everyone note it down, this one, HTTP methods and the corresponding operation what we can do. If you use post method, it's a create. Get method is nothing but read. Put method, it's nothing but update. Delete is delete. Everyone got it, this one? Okay. So now when we are invoking from browser, right, this one, this is nothing but a get method. Okay. All HTTP calls are get methods, like browser. From browser we call. Okay. Now the same flow service, the one which we developed this file processing, right? It contains a node. Okay. This flow service also we can test through form, HTML form. You know how to write HTML form? Anyone knows? Any idea? HTML forms, like it will be HTML tag will be there. Okay.
HTML header title.
Yeah. So I can use it directly. I don't want any header, so I can use body like this. Okay. I know, like if I have to create a table, tr, what you call table, tr. You can use a table tr, td, right? You know.
Table.
Yeah. So you can do basics of this one minimum, right? tr and td. So these are, you can use it for representation, table column format. But I can write a form. Form is nothing but like if you see any web browser where some username and password will be there, right? Login. Okay, and there is a login button and sign up button. Okay, so that is a form. You call it as a form. Okay, how they code it, like form. Okay, method will be there. Method you can put it get method or post method. Okay, action will be there. Action will be the URL where the request should go. Okay, and there will be form. Are you getting? It will be like that, and you can input, like you can give a label or input. Yeah, input a name equal to something, ID you will give something. The type is text. Something you will give a type is equal to text. Like this you can give input, and then you will have a submit button. Okay, so anyone knows about this kind of a form in HTML? Okay, yeah. So input, so type is submit, value is submit, something like type is submit below. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so this is a kind of a form I created. So if you see this form, form is here to here. Okay, method is post. Action is equal to where my request, I'm sending the request. Okay, text area, I want a text area. I will remove this data. Let us see. So text area, and there is a dollar. The name is given $XML. This is very important. $XML. Okay, and the rows, forget about this one, how many rows needed here, data needed. Okay, and the input is submit button. When the button is submitted, the request goes to this URL, whatever the URL we mentioned here, it goes there. Okay, with a method post. Are you getting? I'm saving this file. I'm saved this file under my desktop. Okay, so desktop, desktop, where is my post? Please see any post XML, HTML, post, yeah, this one. Okay, I'm opening this one. Form will looks like this. So this is a text area, and there is a button. If I click the button, it goes to the URL which I specified here. Are you getting? Okay, okay. So now this URL I will give from here. So this is my file processing. Okay, what I did, we know, like how can I give? We know one way is like this. I can give like HTTP localhost triple file, correct? Or double five invoke slash this process in a path, right? I can give the path. This one is my fully qualified path. Okay, I can give like this. Okay, let me take this path. I can go and paste it here. Okay, I'm giving my action where to go. Okay, so if I give this $XML, right, whatever the data I enter here, it will be converted into a node. Input is node, right? It will be converted to a node. Are you getting? This is very question. So they will say like, no, a form data is there. The name of the field is $XML. When we submitted button, okay. So on the flow service, how it will be converted? So this $XML will be converted into node. Are you getting? If suppose let's say if I given this XML as an XML, okay, if I give XML and the data, if I send some data, this XML field should be created here. Are you getting? No. Let's say if I have a dollar. Okay. Here I created a dollar. I saved it. I open this one, refresh it. Here I'm going to put some document. Let's say my XML is, let's say employee okay. In between I'm creating a name, Giri name. This is my XML, right? Root element is there, which is closed, and name is there. Okay, if I submit, right, it went to here. Okay, it converted that this is a node, it received as a node. Okay, it received as a node and it converted document to XML, XML node to document to string, and return to file. Okay, let me go to my log file and let's see is that data is there or not, printed or not. Okay, let me go to my log file. I see here, see it is printed. Are you getting? Are you getting what I did? Okay, so from the post, like, if you see, this is a post method also. Using a form, you can send a data to your service. Okay, flow service. One is from the file you can trigger so that this flow service can execute. Also, you can send it from the HTML form also. Okay, so there is no need, like, no. Are you getting this one, what I did so far? Any questions, anything? If not clear, tell me. Okay, you want to use Postman. Okay, so there also you can use Postman. Okay. Postman. So in this case, Postman, you have to create an header field. Okay. Okay. So what I'm doing is I'm using this path. This is my trigger, right? I'm going to trigger from here. So not this one. Action. The thing is remove it. This is my URL. Instead of get, I'm using post. The header, that XML string, $XML. You have to send this $XML. This is my data. So $XML, okay, as my key, and the values I'm sending. Some value I will use and send. So that is my employee data, right? So let me go to my employee data previously which I sent. So let's say this employee data. Okay, I'm sending from the Postman. Header, this one. Okay, let me give Giri 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's say if it reaches or not. I'm also testing first time using Postman, but let me see if it works or not. Okay, I send the data. It's saying the 404 access denied because I need to give the header. Basic authentication. Username password we need to pass it. Administrator, and my password I will give. Send. 500 internal server. What is saying now? Missing required parameters document. Okay, so it's parameters missing. So this one I cannot give in the header. Okay, I need to check how to send from Postman, but I will give you this XML JSON message. Sorry, not JSON. Whatever I created, right? This one post XML. Okay, in WhatsApp I will give you so that you can download and you can also test your service. Okay, let me go to the questions also. One question. Okay, web methods, web methods. So no, student exam 1. Okay, so I'm going through one question so that you will know what kind of question will come. So if you see this one, can you read this question? Okay, what is the answer? Yes. So what I said is right. So when you post data using with this variable $XML data, okay, it will be $XML or anything, something $XML 1, 2, 3 like that, anything $XML. It will automatically convert into a node. Okay, are you getting? As a string, it cannot be converted. Suppose let's say if I give as XML, suppose without dollar. Okay, whatever the data is here, right? In my flow service, it should be XML. It should be there should be a string. We should have created string. Okay. Otherwise, it will not consider this as XML data. Means I need to close something so that close this. Okay. Postman also close it. From Postman, I will tell you. Okay. But if we have a dollars XML, if dollar XML, just remember if the dollar XML is there, okay, XML data, it will be converted into a node. Okay. Yeah, it will convert into a node automatically as a node. Suppose let's say if I don't have a dollar XML, okay, this will not work because it's a node. Input is node. Okay, it will not automatically convert. It throws an error. Let me see here. Done here. My employee data. Say employee. Okay, and slash employee. Here I'm using name. Okay, if I send this data, it will not work. It says error because missing document. It will throw the missing document because it's dollar. It's not a dollar XML. You're cutting, right? It's not dollar XML. So it is trying to convert into XML only, string only, XML data as a string only. Okay, but it's expecting a document. That's why it is not working. Is that clear so far? Okay. Let's say I would
In that question, if the dollar is given, that answer will be
node.
Node.
Answer is a node. Okay. Suppose let's say another is given. Let's say, okay, here what I am doing is input output. I am creating a XML data. XML data. Okay. In this case, let's say if I'm going with my logs here, just previous one is, what is the difference between this one here? This one is a node, but here test one I'm doing XML data.
string.
Okay, so I'm trying to post the data and store it. Flow service, my debug log. Here, what I'm doing is this XML data I'm mapping here. So I know this path. I will select this flow service dot. Okay, what I'm trying is, instead of using that path, I'm now using, okay, here in after invoke, I'm using this path. Okay, save it. I'm refreshing my JSON message. I'm using that same employee data. Okay, employee. This one is name. Green9. Okay, I use this one. Okay, I'm submitting this data. This one is, you have seen, right? There is no dollar symbol. Okay, it's an XML data. So in that case, it went. There is no error. So that means it is received. That it is considered as an XML string only. Are you getting? Okay. So to summarize what we did is, let me tell you. I'm going with my log files. I have to go to the log file, right? So to see it is printed or not. So integration server, instances, log, default logs. Default logs. If I go to the server logs, see it is printed, right? Okay, so that means if it is a dollar XML, it will be converted into a node.
Node.
Yeah, if it is no dollar, that means it is converted as a, even though it's XML, it's converted as a string only. Are you getting? So any kind of a question comes, if my data is there, suppose let's say my XML data I given like this, my XML data. So in that case, this is string. There is no dollar. Okay. In our code also, exactly name should be there. If I have XML document, it will not take. Are you getting? Let me refresh this one. I'm copying this data because I need to taking back, refresh. What I did is paste it here instead of 999 something given. So, but this time the field name is my XML document here, but in the code, are you getting what I am doing? Nagaraju, what about you? Jashwant.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so here my XML data is there, but here XML, so it won't receive that data. Okay, we'll test that one. So if name should match. If it is not a dollar sign, not dollar symbol, so in that case this name and the name here, exactly name should match, then only it will receive the data. Okay, let us see if it is started.
If you use dollar, no need to match, sir.
Yeah, if you use dollar, then automatically here it should be node. That should be mandatory node. It should be node only. Okay, node object. If you use in dollar, means it should be node object here. Is that clear?
Sir, if there is no dollar, we can take anything or only string.
So name should match. You can take anything here. That's why I use my XML document or my XML or my data. So you can use anything. Okay, if you're using my data, the name should match here.
Name should match, and we have to take string only.
String only. Yes. Okay. So let's see this one. So I'm using this one. Let's say my integration service started. It's restored. Correct. Yeah, it's restored. Okay. Now I'm submitting my data. My XML document is written, but if I go to the this one logs, it won't be printed because the names are not matched. So it is not printed any data. You got it, right? What I did, so there is no logs printed. But if I change here this one to exact name, what is that? My data. Okay, here let's say I'm changing my name, my data, rename, refactor or rename. Okay, so my data. Okay, so that is changed to my data, and then I'm log that data here. Okay, so now I'm testing again the same. Refresh, paste my data, which is type number 89999. Submit. See, I got the logs. It executed. I can go to the logs and see. See, data is printed. Are you getting what I did from using a form? If we have a $XML, flows input should be a node. Got it?
Sir.
Okay. So that's why the question is, when invoking an integration server service via HTML form, how will a string named $XML appear in the pipeline? $XML, it will appear as a node, as an object called node. Okay. You got it right, everyone? Everyone got on? Okay.
Yes, sir.
So we got it how to pull a file. Second one is we learned HTML form, how to test from HTML form. You know, like alias, file alias. So here, if you see this one, we given like in a big name. If you see invoke slash file demo colon test one given, or slash also it will work. Okay, or I can go to my flow service. This is my flow service, right? Flow properties. What happens? Properties are not coming. No, debug log is a debug log, right? I wanted properties here. The way if I click here, something is happening. Let's say disconnect and connect again. Let me close. So let me go to here, file demo. Okay, it's coming. So instead of adding this complete name, I can go to the file alias. I can give something, say short name. Okay, I given test one. So in that case, there is no need to give this entire name. I can give test one. You got it, right? File alias. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I think you know pipeline debug option. Why do we need to save, restore? Okay, these are the three options are there, four options are there: save, none, restore, restored, override, merge. So this we use like debugging kind of thing, like save pipeline to file
And restore the
restore.
pipeline.
Yeah. So just to remember that. Okay. So now file alias also here. Okay, if I have to create a template for these properties, I can go and create preferences. I think you remember everyone?
Integration server.
Not integration server, service development. You have element property template.
Element property template.
Yeah, you can create a property. You have a 3 options to create, right? Flow service, Java, C services. Okay, and properties you can create. And when you are you can right click, apply template, so that will be shown, and you can apply. Okay, so that properties will be updated. Okay, so just to remember what we learned so far. Okay, now you learn flow service and sorry, how to test using a file poller and learn HTML. Correct. Now suppose, let's say I'm just adding something extra. I wanted to read a file. Okay, I wanted to read a file. So when you read a file, right, let's say you have options are like public, file, public. This one is file. So if you see read, get a file or write a file. Let's say I'm going with the string to file. Okay, I wanted to string to file. Get a file, there is to read a file. Okay, you got read this one. Get file is nothing but read a file. Write to a file. Okay, these two are there. String to a file, get to a file. There are two things you need to remember. When you are reading a file, there is no permissions required. Okay, if I'm reading a file, suppose let's say this get a file is there. Okay, here get file, I think you know, right? Get file is nothing but read file. Okay, if I want to read a file, let's say I will give a file name here. So let me create some file, not here, this demo. So what I will do is, okay, we have a file, right? Demo inside completed. I will take this file, some file. Okay, this is my XML file. What I am doing is I'm placing demo, or here read file or something, emp data. Okay, I just created some folder. I'm placing this file here. If I'm reading this file using get file, I think you know get file is to read the file data. Okay, okay, I read the file. Okay, that body contains data. It can be byte, stream, string, like that. Okay, let me test in a debug mode. So there is no permissions required. If you wanted to read this file, you can read without any access control. Okay, there is no permissions required. Let me, so you know how to, so this one is my data, it's a string, so I can pass any data, correct? So I will run in debug mode, I can run in this one. So what I can do is I will run in debug flow. Okay, so I will give my data something hello. Okay, I just trigger. So what is happened, it came here, a step here, flow. So it is ended, but what I will do is I'll just keep one mapper just to see, like, you know, it should wait here. Okay, to stop console, no way. I'm going to run again. This one. So this one is test one. Okay, debug test one. Hello. Next step. So I'm going to read now file. So if you see file read, the body, you have a byte. File read is reading, get file is reading the data. Okay, but I can write that byte data into text format also. Let us see. So get load as, you see, by default it is taken as a byte, but I can read it as a string. Okay, are you getting what I'm doing? Okay, any questions are getting or doubts, anything what I'm explaining? If you're not clear, just let me know. Are you getting or not?
Yes, sir. Getting, sir.
Sir.
Okay, so I'm using test 1 again. Next step, I got this one. This time if you see, this body contains my data. Are you getting? Okay, so that means get file is used to read a file. Okay, when you are using get file, there is no file permissions needed. There is no need to do anything. You can just read the file from your file location. Okay, is that clear? Okay. But when you are writing a data to a file, okay, let me go into the, this one is get file. I'm using string to file. Okay, I'm using string to file here. Okay, so here I will give file name different file location. So now this file, so get file I'm reading. Let's say get file I will read. Okay, I will write the data into this file. I can do, right? Get file is reading. Okay, so this one is writing a file, string to a file. No, it is already read and the data is in body string format. Because I used a get, if you see that get file, return the body which is of string, because I loaded as set it loaded as string. Are you getting? Okay, now I read that file. Okay, I am writing to another file. This one is get file, I'm writing to another file. Okay, so that file name, writing a file, that file name I'm giving like, the same folder, or other, I will create one more folder. Okay, output emp out, this folder I'm giving. Okay, and the file name is emp.txt, assuming this one xml. Okay, I'm giving some name, file name. Okay, I use this one, and the data I'm mapping from previous string there, right? I'm mapping from here. Or let's say I got my data, so this one is my data, right? That data only I wanted to write here. Anything, any data I wanted to write here. Is it clear? String to file I'm doing. Okay, now if I'm testing this one, okay, I'm testing in debug mode. Same. Hello, 1, 2, 3. What will happen now? Write to file, this string to file, there it will throw an error. See, it's thrown error. What is saying now? This one specified path C temp emp is not on the allowed write to write path. Okay, in the file access configuration file is throwing the access issue, permissions issue. Are you getting? You have to remember this one. If you are using get file, we didn't get any issues, right? We have not configured anything. We have not enabled any access permissions. Okay, we are able to read the file. Is that clear? If you are reading a file using get file, any files you can read without specifying any permissions. Okay, you have not configured anything in the server, integration server. Okay, but when you are writing a file, when you are writing, so I'm trying to write a file using pub.file.string to file. We are writing into a file. At that time, it is throwing the error. Allowed write paths error. Are you getting? Allowed write path error is getting. So we need to enable what you call access permissions. So where you can get that access file is, I just updated in the document. I will share this one. So this is a path like default package my web. So this is instances default packages web config file access control. This is a file will be there. You need to go to this file. Okay, we know everyone knows this one is integration. Generally we go integration server instance, we know default, we know. Okay, then we have to go to the packages wm public. Okay, and config. Okay, you will have file access control file. You need to edit this file. Okay, there you have to give this the path which we are writing. Okay, so this is a path we are writing, right? You can copy this path and you can go and update here. Instead of forward slash, change it to backward slash. Are you getting what I did?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now not only just change this one, allowed write path, you have to restart your server. Okay, then only it will work. Okay, so you got it what I am doing now or not? So I try to use debug log or something like my input data is string here now, but you can have node also. Anything can be. Okay, but when you are using get file, that means you are reading a file. Okay, so reading a file or file poller also, there is no access permission need to set. But when you are writing a file, at that time that file path should be updated in the which file files we created, right? This one, file access control config file. Okay, we need to update that file access control file. This is very important because many times we work in the projects processing the files, so you need to remember this file name, file access control config file. Okay, is that clear? Now I created and restarted, right? I'm going to test again this one. So running in a debug mode, run test one. So I'm giving this time 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. I did this one. So next step, I'm reading the file. So this is read and the body, the data is there here. Now map is there, and then after that I'm going to write to a file. This time you should not throw any error. So if I go to the result, it's a success. There is no error is there. Okay, and if I go to the file, whether the file is created or not, I can go and check. See, employee output, which is emp output, we given here pipeline here, whatever the file name is given. See, emp output emp xml dot xml, that file is created here, and the data, if I go and see, it will be text file. See, hello something be given. Are you getting? So there will be one question may come. I given, let's say when we are writing data to a file using pub dot file dot string to file to a file, let's say this location, this file. Okay, so we need to set access permissions in the file. Which file? This file access control dot config file, which is under wm public. So what data need to be set? So we have this one. You need to set this one test, right? So here also we need to set test.xml. Are you getting this one? What I did, what I explained.
Sir, can you explain again?
Okay, so if you are using, if you are reading a file, there is no need to set any access controls. Okay, there is no need to set any access control in the integration server. But if you are using this one, writing a file, if you are writing a file using string2 file, okay, writing a file, at that time you have to specify access control in this file. So then only you can able to write the data to a file. Are you getting? Not. Nagaraju.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Right. So okay. So that is what. Okay. There will be one question. If you see this one question, read it everyone and tell me the answer. What is the answer?
Does not require any modifications.
Yeah, I given the answer here, but that is what
We
we did
cannot
also.
take any permissions, no sir,
Yeah,
to read
so
the file.
correct. So get file, we are not configured anything. There is no need of any permissions. So Meghana, you are saying something?
No sir.
You got it right. So why this answer? So when we use get file, we have not configured any access permissions. But when you are writing, at the time we updated the file access control file. Okay. Got it right? File access control file we updated when we are using this one.
File.
Okay. String2 file. Okay. I will stop it here. So you guys can, whatever I explained, right?